Hi, I'm Michael from Statehub. What I'm showing you here is a quick demonstration of Statehub's core capability, which is stateful application mobility between different public cloud locations that takes seconds, guarantees no data loss, and requires virtually no effort. What you see running here is a stateful Kubernetes workload with two databases that's continuously being moved between two different cloud vendors and three regions. This is a simple e-commerce application. On the left, you see the storefront, and here's the back office showing that the orders are coming in. On the right upper side, you can see an illustration of our infrastructure and what's happening with it at any given moment. We have three Kubernetes clusters, one on AWS US West 1, another on AWS US East 1, and another in Azure US East 2. You can always see which cluster currently owns the application state and runs the application. The data is being replicated in real time from the location with the cluster that's currently the owner of the state to the other two locations, so no transactions are ever lost. There are two Statehub volumes. One is for MySQL that holds the product information, and the other one is for MongoDB that contains the orders themselves. On the right lower side, you can see the terminal window with a script that's constantly moving the application around. Think of it as a continuous fire drill, showing you what happens if one location fails and what needs to be done in order to resume the application at a different location with all of the data up to date. It starts the databases on a Kubernetes cluster, then starts the store application, runs simulated orders for 30 seconds, and then moves the application to a different Kubernetes cluster in another region or another cloud. This is done by giving the cluster ownership of the application state, that is, over the persistent volumes of the databases, and then simply applying the YAML files onto that cluster. Let's follow it for a couple of cycles and talk about what's happening there in more detail. Right now you see we switch the context to our next cluster, and using the Statehub CLI we make it the owner of the state called demo. Then we're immediately starting the databases by applying the YAML files. These are standard YAML files for MySQL and MongoDB that only contain the storage class name that would instruct Kubernetes to use Statehub for persistent volumes instead of, for example, EBS. Once the databases are up, we can see our store deployment coming up. It's just an Node.js app. And then we fire up the order simulator, something that would just let us generate new data and see it moves from place to place. Every order that's coming in and stored in a persistent volume is immediately replicated to the other locations. This is something Statehub does on the volume level. This means that in order for this to work, you don't have to set up networking between the clusters or do anything at all really to establish multi-region or multi-cloud replication for your stateful applications. Okay, we killed the order simulator and now we move the application to the next cluster. Same as before, setting it as the owner of the data and bring up the databases. It's extremely easy to set this whole thing up. The whole process will take you just a few minutes from start to finish. Check out the Statehub in 3 minutes video to see me set up multi-cloud replication in, well, 3 minutes. Statehub is a service providing your clusters with replicated persistent volumes. Think of it as an EBS or a thumb drive that you can just move around the world and connect it to any of your clusters in seconds, with all the data in sync, and no matter how far these clusters are from one another. We can see again that the application is up and orders continue to come in. Statehub is so easy, in fact, that this is our installation guide. From the moment you run this command to register your clusters around the world with Statehub, all stateful applications you deploy on these clusters will be replicated between their locations, and you'll be able to move them from cluster to cluster, from region to region, from cloud to cloud, just as you see here. Thank you for watching, and be sure to check out my Statehub in 3 minutes video and sign up for our free tier and get 100 gigs of globally replicated storage for your Kubernetes clusters for free. Links are in the description. Until next time, bye-bye.